Hi tankers, we're going to be taking a look at the Tier 6 Cromwell in World of Tanks. At the time of recording this video I was working on a presentation on the British Cromwell tanks for a historical chat, so why not look at the Cromwell in the game. Quite a fun tank to play, agile, fast, not the easiest to learn, not the easiest to play if you're new to the game. I'm going to be also trying something a bit different in this video, where I'm going to change the Cromwell into the Centaur Mark IV and use the 95mm Howitzer, so we'll see how that goes. So let's go into the game.
I don't play the Cromwell that much, as I tend to play the Comet a lot at Tier 7. I haven't tried to get a Mark of Excellence on the barrel, but I intend to at some point. I haven't been firing the gold ammo on this one too much neither. The tank is fun, as it is very fast and agile. It's not far off like playing with a light tank, although the Cromwell should be used mainly as a flanker. Scouting is an option, but you might have to be wise about when to do this, such as looking at the enemy lineup before the battle starts. There is also a premium version of the Cromwell B. A lot of players go for this tank, either purchasing it or they got it through a token store or Twitch drops. It will earn you more credits as a premium. There are a few differences, but they are minimal. I think the Cromwell B has better gun depression, aim time and traverse. The playstyle is pretty much the same though. Now today we will be watching another player with the Cromwell. I haven't played a lot with the Cromwell recently. I'll be rusty and I don't fancy playing through 20 battles just to feature one decent one. I'm not the best with mediums, so we will watch a decent player in action with the 75mm Vickers gun. This should be the way to play the Cromwell competitively. The second battle, to fit with my upcoming historical chat, I'll be turning the Cromwell into the Centaur. It will be me playing the tank this time. The Centaur tank was part of the Cromwell family of tanks. It was originally designated the Cromwell 2. The Cromwell was actually designated at first as the Cromwell 3. The Cavalier at Tier 5 in World of Tanks was originally designated the Cromwell 1. The Mark 1 and 2 were redesignated with the new names, mainly because they did not feature the Rolls-Royce Meteor engine used on the Cromwell. The Centaur Mark IV had the Liberty engine and the 95mm Howitzer gun, the derp gun in World of Tanks. Playing the Cromwell like this is a bit of fun, but not competitive. Don't play the tank this way if you are looking to mark the tank, but a fun way to play, best as a platoon. You could find a few friends who might enjoy a session playing the Cromwell with the derp for a few laughs. Play as a coordinated wolf pack. I was playing it solo, so not as much fun and could be frustrating. I would recommend using the top Rolls-Royce engine though. I'm just playing it with the Liberty engine for historical accuracy. The Liberty engine will make the tank more sluggish, but the Centaur in real life was slower and lacked the acceleration of the Cromwell. I played a few sessions with the Cromwell set up as the Centaur with the Howitzer and Liberty engine. I've picked out the best battle that I had to watch in this video. I'll give you a few pointers on how to play the Cromwell whilst watching the other player in the first battle. I'm not an expert player, but I think I've picked up enough to know how to play the tank. The derp gun does change the play style from how you normally play it, so I'll go through that later when showing the second battle. On to the stats. We'll just look at the stats when the tank has fully upgraded modules and the Vickers gun for now. We will look at how the stats change with the Liberty engine and Howitzer later after the first battle. So firepower, not great alpha for a Tier 6 at 135. The penetration on the standard ammo is not good neither, so you'll have to fire gold quite often, especially against heavy tanks. The firepower is very much like that of a light tank. The rate of fire and DPM is very good though, the standout feature of the Cromwell. The gun handling is not too bad, but nothing amazing. Gun depression is okay and not too uncomfortable, but not the best. Survivability will be tricky because this tank has no armour, making it challenging to play. You really need to use the tank's speed as its armour. Mobility is the same as the real historical tank, 64 km per hour. The traverse speed is okay. This is a really nimble tank. Use its speed to dodge shells and get into cover quickly. You might have to use the zigzag or weaving technique as you drive rather than drive in a straight line to avoid fire. Many light tank players do this to throw enemy players off their aim. I'm hopeless at it, but it is very effective. Also, use the speed to your advantage towards the end of battles against isolated heavy tanks. Frontally, they will be too tough for you, and even firing gold ammo may not penetrate. You can take heavy tanks out by circling them and firing into their sides and rear. Many heavies won't have the turret traverse to keep up with your circling Cromwell. You'll see a demonstration of this strategy in the battle that I will show you. Concealment is excellent, so you can be sneaky and stealthy using bush mechanics. The view range is okay but not great. You may opt for optics to boost view range, especially on maps that are good for scouting and spotting, but also to spot targets for yourself. As you can see, I haven't got much equipment on this tank yet, as I don't play it often. Okay, enough of the stats. Let's take a look at a player who knows what they're doing in the Cromwell. So today we are featuring No Limits Dusha. We'll just call him No Limits for the rest of this battle. He's in the Cromwell. He's got his Mark of Excellence. He knows what he's doing. He's a bit indecisive at first. I think he was thinking about going down where the heavies go, going down the railroad track. But he decides to go to the other flank where the mountainous area is. There he'll probably find a lot of light tanks, mediums, TDs, less armour. He does still fire the gold throughout this battle, even though he's not facing so many heavies. It proves to be an expensive battle, but definitely worth it. So he's pushing on. He's got teammates ahead of him. Hopefully they'll spot for him. Quite a few light tanks there. So there's a Skoda approaching on the enemy team, and he makes a mistake straight away. He leaves himself right in the open here. This could have been very dangerous. He does manage to take out the Skoda. 1 hit. 2 hit. He takes the Skoda out, but he takes a couple of hits from the M10. This could have been very costly. He could have been back in the garage early on here. He made a big mistake there, leaving himself in the open. He does get his revenge on the M10 RBFM. He is spotted. And he gets the kill shot. He's got 2 kills straight away. But he could have been back in the garage. He does make the most of it though. He gets away with a mistake, makes the most of it, and he does have a great battle. So he's pushing up the flank. You can snipe in the Cromwell, you can stay back. This position here would be a good sniping position. He takes this position early on. And not the best gun handling, but I think it's just about good enough for sniping. And the Jagdpanzer 4 is just sitting there to be hit. He gets a few hits on that. He didn't get the kill there. But he's being quite aggressive, No Limits. He's going to push forward. He's not going to stay in that sniping position. He sees his team are 3-0 up. He's going to be aggressive here. So he's going down the flank. This is ideal with the Cromwell. It's flanking, trying to get in at the sides of the enemy. Unfortunately, he meets a heavy tank head on. It's the VK3601H. And you can see the struggles that Cromwell has to pen this tank frontally. He does get a hit there. He must have hit the lower plate. And then he gets another hit because the VK kindly exposes his side as he's reversing. He gets another hit. But that just shows you the struggles against heavies. The Giro is then kindly exposing his side. And No Limits gets his 3rd kill. Team's 4-1 up. It's going well. He's just made the one mistake and he's got away with it. And he's got another hit on the VK there. Got that lower plate, you see, but then it's a struggle. He missed the lower plate. You can see where the Cromwell is going to struggle against heavy tanks. This is why you kind of want to avoid heavies early on in the battle. If you do come up against heavies, you're going to fire the gold a lot to try and pen. Now there's one of those pesky French wheeled vehicles, the EBR Hotchkiss. Really annoying tank. He needs to get rid of this because it can spot. He's trying to take him out. He really needs to get rid of this tank. It's going to be a nuisance. Just see how it's really difficult to hit them. But he manages to take him out. He's got his 4th kill. It's going well. No Limits is having a nice battle so far. Now there's more enemy spotted. They are exposing their sides. He just can't quite get the hit on the setter there. There's another medium tank there, but he's just gone back into cover. So now he's just going to wait back here. So he's kind of in sniping mode still. He's staying back. He's waiting for the enemy to expose sides like this VK is. I don't think the VK's had a very good battle here. He's now leaving his side completely exposed now. It's tracked. And now No Limits can farm. Didn't pen that one. Gets another one, but doesn't quite get the kill yet. So he's still focusing on this VK, who kindly pops out, leaves the side, and that allows No Limits to get his 5th kill. So this is a very good battle at the moment, and it gets even better for our friend. He's now got the 88 here. He's got to go for the cupola. I mean, these British heavy tank destroyers, the only thing frontally to go for is that big fat cupola on the top. That's exactly what No Limits is trying to hit. Couldn't quite get that hit there. It is difficult, and the Cromwell has not got the best gun handling. But there's another enemy here exposing the side again, and No Limits gets a hit on that. He didn't get the kill there. It's now getting his attention on the 88 again, but it doesn't quite get the hit there. Difficult to hit that cupola from this distance. So he's still waiting in this sniping position. He's using the bushes for concealment. He's now waiting for that setter to make a mistake possibly and pop out. The setter is thinking about it, he's thinking about it, and he does. And again, this is bad play from the setter, just completely exposes his tank, waiting to be farmed, which our friend is farming right now. And he gets his 6th kill. So this is a great battle. So what he'll be thinking about now is the coveted Radley Walters medal. That's for 8 kills. He's got 6, he's got the Top Gun. He wants the Radley Walters. But our team is doing really well here. It's capping, and it's nearly got the cap. But somehow his team make a mess of it. They get decapped there. Someone must have got hit. And here we're going to show you an example of what the Cromwell should do against heavy tanks that are isolated like this one, the T14. It's the circling technique. Look, you see how he's getting in around the back, around the sides, and they can take him out. So that's what you do later on in the battle when they're isolated heavies like that. You circle around them. Don't stay head to head frontally, getting around the sides and the back. And he does the same thing again here. There's a KV-1 approaching. He sees him, and again he's going to circle around him. Instead of meeting him face to face, circle around, gets around the back, using his speed and mobility, and there you go, fires into the back of him. His EBR friend is a bit of a nuisance for him, he's a bit annoying, and he's trying to do the same thing but not doing it very well because he's circling and getting hit, which is what you don't want to do. But our friend No Limits is playing it spot on, and he's got the 8th kill. So he killed the T14, he's got the KV-1, he's got the Radley Walters medal, but they haven't won the battle. And unfortunately, his team have made a right mess of it in terms of the cap, but I guess he can't grumble because he probably wouldn't have got the Radley Walters medal if his team had capped. He then gets someone calling for help, and it's the EBR, and I think the EBR is stuck. So I think the EBR player is a bit of a muppet player, and our friend No Limits is getting irritated by him. He does go back to help him out, he gives him a shove. He needs the EBR for help really, because the enemy are probably going to approach the base to defend it. There is a light tank, the AMX 1375, who has a great battle as well. We'll look at the results at the end here to see how the AMX 1375 did as well. Gives the EBR player a shove, he needs his help, and then inexplicably the EBR goes into some other direction away from the base. Not quite sure what he's up to, what he's doing. No Limits is getting really annoyed by him. He's now going back to the cap, and I think No Limits is a bit flustered at this point, because we'll see what happens here. He's had a great battle, he's got his Radley Walters, but I think he's just a little bit flustered at the end because the EBR's been a bit of a muppet. And he makes a big mistake here. He gets on the top of this hill here and leaves his tank completely exposed, and there's that French light tank there that takes him out in ambush mode there, using the bushes. And unfortunately our friend made a big mistake at the end, the only other mistake, and it cost him at the end. The EBR, we won't see this, it's off cameras, we're looking at the shot now that killed No Limits. He gets taken out as well, like the muppet he is, going to the same spot on the top of the hill, exposing his tank. So he's taken out. And all that's left on the team, unfortunately, is the GW Panther, and he can't do anything here. He gets a load of abuse from the N10 RBFM player that's been killed already. And there's not really much he can do. You can't push with an SPG, you can't go for the cap, there's time running out. And that's the end of battle. So unfortunately not a win for No Limits, but he had an amazing battle, Radley Walters. Let's go and have a look at the results. Let's see what No Limits did in this battle. He got an ace tanker and secured the coveted Radley Walters medal for getting the 8 kills. He did a whopping 3,135 damage, unicum for a tier 6 tank. Got a decent amount of XP for a defeat. If we look across at the enemy team scores, the pesky AMX 1375 also got the Radley Walters medal with 8 kills and did even more damage, nearly 4k damage. You'll be happy with that amount of damage in a tier 9 or tier 10 tank. Staggering performance there, and he won the game for his team. But our friend No Limits demonstrated what you can do when you play well with the Cromwell. He made a mistake early on, but got away with it and made the most of it. On to the subject of credits now. I mentioned he was firing a lot of gold ammo. Well, he lost a huge amount of credits, minus 56,563 credits, and that was running premium account. Without premium time, he would have lost 80,401 credits. I would be very reluctant to fire that much gold in my Cromwell at tier 6, which is probably why I can't get that kind of performance that No Limits got in this battle. So after No Limits exploits, we're now going to change the gun and the engine to turn this tank into the Centaur Mark IV. So I'm presenting the changes to the key stats using World of Tanks Tankopedia. We have all the top modules installed. If we first change the Vickers gun to the Howitzer, we have a huge increase on the alpha damage, as you would expect with a derp gun, but penetration drops a huge amount. The standard shell is HE, so you will at least get some damage even if it doesn't pen. The heat shell, the gold ammo, also loses a lot of penetration. You really have to go after lightly armoured tanks. Certainly early on in the battle, you can't face heavy tanks head on. The reload time increases a lot, but the main problem is the dispersion, which jumps all the way up to 0.53. Forget about sniping, you've got to get up close and personal. With such light armour on your tank, this is difficult. You can try sniping, but it's like playing golf. The shell velocity of the shells will be terrible on the derp too. Shots will loop in the air and then drop down steeply onto the target tank. Moving targets will be extremely difficult to hit. You can see why this changes the playstyle of the tank. Now, making the change to the engine, you'll notice that you don't lose anything to your top speed. It remains at 64 km per hour. The problem is that you lose a lot of engine power and the power to weight ratio falls a lot. What this means is that the tank will feel very sluggish on rough terrain. It will be very slow going up hills and slopes, and the tank will struggle to hit that top speed. On flat standard ground, there won't be a huge amount of difference, and your mobility is still going to beat a lot of tanks that you will face. Let's watch me in battle as a Centaur Howitzer tank. So here I am. As you can see, I've got the short barrel. I'm playing with the Liberty engine. The Cromwell did look very similar to the Centaur Mark IV. In fact, I think some of the Centaurs, I think it was the Mark III, the hulls were used for some of the Cromwell variants. It's a very similar looking tank, and I'm going to show you how to play it with the short barrel. You've basically got to change your mindset from being a flanker to a light tank hunter. So on this map, I very rarely like to go down the centre, but with this short barrel howitzer derp gun, I'm going to do exactly that because I'm looking for light tanks. So there's a lot of risk to this gameplay when you do play with the derpy, but I just find if you don't take risks with this gun, you'll probably end up not doing anything. You can't snipe with it, you can't stay at the back of the map. You've got to get out there, you're looking for light tanks. Now I'm a bit cagey at first. I'm using these rocks down the centre. I'm worried about snipers at the back of the map. So I'm sort of ducking in, weaving between these rocks. Just using this tree as cover at the moment, concealment. But I do want to get forward at some point. I know I can't stay back, otherwise I'll end up doing nothing. So I'm just using these rocks as cover. I'm really hoping that there's a light tank that's going to push out at some point. So I wait here. I'm thinking about taking some shots there, but they would be golf shots, lobbing the shells. The shell velocity is terrible on these derp guns. You really can't fire at distance. And then I see there's a T-3485 coming along. Now I've got a good opportunity for an ambush here, but the T-3485M, it's the premium version of the T-3485, has trollish armour on it, so I have to switch to the gold. And here I get my opportunity, ambush, then I get very aggressive here because I want to get in at the side and the back. Thankfully the T-3485 is not focusing as far on me. I get a second hit. I did actually try and ram a little bit, but did damage to myself with the ram. But I got the 2 hits in, firing the gold. I then sort of paused for a little bit. I'm weighing up my options and what do I do next. And I'm starting to think that I want to keep going down the centre of the map. I want to get to the base, not to cap, but to look for other light targets. So now I'm thinking, turning myself into an SPG hunter. This is what a lot of light tank players do. They try to break through the lines and search for SPGs. But I also know at the back of the map there's likely to be light armoured tanks, maybe sniper mediums, TDs, maybe even a light tank that's parking at the back of the map. So I decide let's risk it for the biscuit and push forward, but just down this centre here. And I was thinking about going around the rocky area that's just before the base, but I get spotted, and so I go for the other route, which is a little gap between these rocks that takes you into the base area. So I'm really looking for light armoured tanks, and I'm hoping there's some SPGs around as well. This was textbook play with this battle. It couldn't have gone any better. I only actually needed one battle to record. It was the first battle. I thought, you know what, it's not going to get any better than this with the derp gun. So I'm hovering around the base, and there's a target there. The Skoda T25 has got armour like a light tank. It is a medium, but there's hardly any armour on it. I snap a shot, 370. The next shot didn't fully pen. This is where you're kind of leaving it up to the wargaming gods there. Didn't pen, but the third shot I do get a full hit and take him out. And that's my second kill. I then get hit. I thought it was the Skoda, but it wasn't. It was the AMD that fired a HE shell at me. There's the lobbing shot. There's your golf shot. Look, you can see how the shell velocity is terrible. But I took him out, and that's my third kill. The AMDs continue to fire at me. My 40TP teammate's getting him away a little bit there. I kind of wait for a little bit. Is he going to poke out? But I don't want to wait too long because this battle's going to be over very quickly. And I get some reward here by being persistent, being aggressive, pushing through the centre here. And there's the AMD, but I know there's an SPG around somewhere, and there he is. Snap another shot, boom, take him out one hit. And I also get my revenge on this AMD, who's actually farmed me a little bit. But I get my revenge, and I get my fourth kill. I don't think I could have done any better than this with the derp gun. Just a quick look at my results. I got a second class, not bad for a derp gun. And I finished top on my team with 1,558 damage and 4 kills. I also did just over 700 assistance damage for spotting, so over 2k combined damage. That will do for me with the tier 6 derp gun. Okay, that's a look at the Cromwell. Hopefully you've picked up a few tips to play it competitively with the Vickers gun. Regarding the derp gun, there are better tanks for playing derp guns at tier 6, the KV2, OI, the Sherman Jumbo, the BUGI Polish medium, the one I call the Boogie. I would recommend to play any of these if you're playing solo. If you are platooning with friends, then you could consider the British mediums, from the Cavalier to the Comet. They all have the Howitzer as an option. Just wolf pack and go for it. You can have a lot of fun if you play well together. Okay, that's it from me. See you next time.